Alright, we are down here in Death Row, doing a little bit of looting. Testing out the Serpent Fangs down here, which I have to say are far better down here in Death Row than they were in Raven Ridge. I kind of redid my implants a little bit, just to help with looting a little bit more, since the odds are worse down here, which did sacrifice 40% damage to mimic my prophecy implant. But as you'll see, I have 600 weapon loot and almost 600% armor loot as well. And honestly, these things still dominate down here. I've done the last 3 runs through the hospital here, only getting hit like once or twice by exploding zombies. But yeah, as you can see, even with only a 22% damage boost and 3.4% pistol, so 25% damage boost, these things are awesome. They definitely, the 20% dexterity and max dex make a big difference as well. But they do pretty well. I'll show you guys at the end of kind of this run through, but 2 out of the last 5 runs total through the hospital here, I actually looted a Goretooth non-Mastercraft and then a Mastercrafted Ripsaw G2. I'll show you both of those loots at the end of kind of, like I said, this pass through here. And then we're just going to spend a little bit of time down here in Death Row doing some looting, doing some boss hunting. So stay tuned. Yeah, as you can see, these things are sweet. The amount of knockback, the armor penetration, the fire rate, all make it super, super easy down here. I even kind of played with these a little bit, boss hunting. And it's not quite like the Warhawk in terms of crowd control, since the rounds pass through. But the fire rate does make it comparable with the heavy knockback. And just like the Tidebreaker in the chemical plant, the chance to stun actually hits quite a bit. Yeah, I almost didn't get these because I was like, they can't really be that much better than the Dusk, especially since I have the X-Dusk Enforcer now. But then I saw the fire rate on them and I was like, you know, and they're just cool. The dual weapons is just sick. I didn't mean to take that. Sad thing is I just bought a wyvern to try down here in Death Row, and then these came out, and, well, I love the wyvern, but these were a little more exciting, and they're working so well that I don't even really care to try the wyvern, to be honest. I'm just going to end up selling it when I get back. Yeah, like, look at that. Like, I can just loot with total abandon. These things keep pretty much everything at bay. Now, if only I had like 10 more implant slots, then I could put my max dex setup on. They definitely aren't like super ammo conscious. I mean, I'm sure you could be, and if I had better accuracy too, but I have the bare minimum of 80. Nope. Time to get to the safe zone. There we go. Alright, we'll just cut till this is over. This is why it is an absolute must to have grenade launcher for Death Row, or hospital looting in general. Since you are a couple floors up, you know, if you're not ready for the aggro, it can definitely trap you and get you killed. But a grenade launcher, especially in Death Row, but in particular in hospitals, is a must. It's definitely what I would consider part of the kit, not an optional piece. You know, like normally I have my looting or my, you know, high damage when I'm boss fighting is my Tidebreaker. Then I have my actual distance DPS weapon, which is the Warhawk. And then typically I have a crowd control weapon, which you could consider in a shotgun. And a grenade launcher, both, as well as like large LMGs are considered crowd control weapons. I definitely prefer shotguns for crowd control, especially if you have good dexterity. The knockback just beats everything else in my experience. As far as affordability goes, like, yes, sure, a minigun will give you better, but chews through ammo a lot faster. I don't think the trade-off is really that great in my experience, going from like the X-Dusk Striker to, you know, Kraken Slayer. Was an awesome weapon for crowd control, but the shotgun still just felt better. And I'm not a big explosives person for crowd control, unless it's like a thrower. You know, one of the flamethrowers does pretty decent crowd control. Actual explosives give you damage, but no, it doesn't really keep the zombies away from you, you know. Yeah, about the only time I don't have all three classes of weapons is the chem plant, because I don't really need a crowd control. I just need a high damage because none of the enemies are armored or anything like that, if I really need it. So I usually just tag along my X-Dusk Enforcer and I get pistol kills while I run back and forth to the chemical plant. Ooh, nice. I've gotten a couple of those today as well. hit up the market. I would never loot in the street before, but honestly, these things make it doable. It's still not super awesome because like there's tons of zombies around, so like you're always attracting aggro, but I've not found a decent weapon to comfortably do this until now. See what we can find in the market. Of course, the last 3 times I've been into here, market's had a ton of loot spots. And naturally, now that I'm recording, back to the same crappy amount of loot spots. Just poking around store aisles, dual wielding pistols. This run kind of sucked. I don't even know if I'm going to have a full inventory. Gosh, the last run I just did, I had to throw away like 4 or 5 miscellaneous clothing items, which, yeah, they're not worth a ton, but they're still worth like 6,000 or 7,000. We're here for... well, we're here in hopes to get legendary gear, but, you know, I'd rather have quantity of scrap than overall quality, I guess. It all adds up. I'd rather have a full inventory of scrap than only half inventory of good scrap. Alright, we'll call that here, and now you guys get to see the highlight reel.